Could increase rare earth metals. That is true. Was it this one? No, it's minimum wage. One of these. They move around from time to time. Is it this one? Rare earth metal mining. So if, for example, if we were to boost it, because right now it's just some research grants. If we were to boost it completely, environmentalists would not like it. And it does substantially boost pollution. Substantially. Now, there is, I think, a crisis that can arrive as a result of rare earth minerals shortages. How is this happening? All right, it's going down. Hopefully it goes away because it is a drain on the GDP, which is nice. Daniel, also, I might have missed one earlier. Oh, no, Pentagon. Daniel! I love you, man. I'm happy you're around. This is awesome. More of this, please. By the way, is becoming a dictator possible? As far as I know, you can't change the election laws mid-game. You set them up at the start of the game. But you could set it up that there's like very long or basically no elections kind of thing, and then the goal is mostly just like not getting assassinated, which is a thing. But I mean, we can go and become very draconian. There's lots of ways we can influence this situation in authoritarian and dictatorial ways, for sure. If you go tech heavy, it was on shortage of rare earth, yeah. Because I remember that was a thing in Democracy 3. And if we could bring down car usage, this would help. Tear gas. There, here's what we're talking about right over here. Could you imagine? Could you imagine tear gassing your own population? Tear gas isn't even allowed in war. It's against the Geneva Convention. You can't use it in warfare. So why would you ever use it against your own citizens? That would be nuts. I like proportionate fines. Doesn't somewhere like... I mean, it's always Scandinavia. Doesn't something like Finland or something use proportional fines for like speeding? It's like a percentage effectively of like your taxed income. So that, because like if you were super wealthy, like $100 speeding ticket means nothing. Basically, you're just, here's my I'm allowed to speed license fee is the way it sort of works. Whereas if you're poor, it would be devastating. So by scaling some of these fines, it is actually a pretty smart idea. Finland, Swiss, Iceland, yeah, Norway, see. Everyone's got... Well, we're not talking about proportional taxes. We're talking about proportional fines. But yeah, all the enlightened countries. I still want the needle exchange program. And again, it makes liberals happy and their biggest voting block and helps with health. So we're going to do this and we'll max it out. That's going to be okay. I'm going to run that for sure. Oh, Trade Council. Actually, we want this. It's not very expensive. I should have ran this earlier. It takes a while to kick in. Doesn't have the biggest effect, but it has something, especially for the money. International trade is really good for our economy. Foreign relations boosts so many things. It helps with tourism, which is good for our economy. It also will decrease some of these cyber warfare problems. Yeah, let's totally get that going on. Democratic shamanism. Mandatory needle usage. Wait, what? Largest speeding fine is a reported 290,000, so 180 pound ticket given to an anonymous Swiss motorist who was caught driving 137 kilometers an hour in an 80 kilometer an hour zone. Huh. Cyber warfare is going down, and our intelligence services hasn't even fully kicked in yet. We may have gone overboard with that, much to the chagrin of the liberals. Overall, so you can see, I'm starting to get concerned with re-election. We're about a third of our way through our term here. And I mean, I still want to make sure the country is functioning. First priority was making the country function. Second priority is like getting re-elected. Third priority is like, being a good person, possibly in that order, because it turns out you can't enact good social policies if the country goes bankrupt first. So you kind of have to go in that order. You have to keep the country afloat, and you have to get reelected so you can keep making good ethical choices. It'd be nice to go the other way around, but it turns out that is possibly not going to actually lead you to succeed. Agricultural subsidies. That might not be a terrible idea. I mean, we've got a slight deficit right now. Not a huge one, but it is there. I guess one of the things we could consider more like taxes. I mean, the plastic bag tax basically brings in nothing. It makes environmentalists happy. Thing is, too many of these can also lead to tax evasion and brain drain kind of things. More ag subsidies get the farm vote. Tax whiskey and chocolate. What? Can you increase tax on drugs? Actually, we must currently have a drug tax since we have legalized drugs, haven't we? Yeah, right over here. Yeah, we could. Okay, it is actually kind of interesting because other than increasing our tax income, it actually doesn't have that much of an impact on many things. It will lower legal drug consumption, which is probably a decent idea. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Legalize it and then tax it. Boom, high taxes. High taxes. Boom, done. All right, let's move forward. Okay. All right, things are fairly good overall. The situation, okay, the gig economy, although it's at the lower end, which isn't bad. Illegal immigration amnesty. Everyone knows we have illegal immigrants in our country. A proposal has been put that we should offer existing immigrants an amnesty and welcome them as proper citizens who can work and pay tax like everyone else. We could refuse, so an amnesty might be tempting for tax and law and order reasons, but it sends a terrible message. People who broke our laws and came here illegally should never be rewarded for doing so. This would just lead to yet more illegal immigration from people hoping to do the same happens to them. Or could offer amnesty. However tough or relaxed we are in current immigration policy, it doesn't change the status of people already here. Many illegal immigrants have worked and lived for years, and simply makes economic sense and improves social cohesion to grant them citizenship. This means less black market work, more tax. It's a double win. Here's the thing. In real life, I'm against illegal immigration. Why would I be for anything illegal? What I'm for is better, more functional legal immigration paths, right? Like, by definition, no one supports illegal immigration. The only question is, do you maybe support an easier path to legal immigration? Offer, refuse, no, refuse it outright. Offer. Ooh, this is very divided. Maybe it looks like maybe a few more offers. Abolish borders. World's too small for walls. I think there's a slight edge towards offer amnesty. So we're going to do it. So the Liberals approve, which is really good for election chances. I mean, thinking of it from that point of view, whether or not it was the right thing to do. This is certainly something that this is sort of very debatable. If someone literally immigrated illegally, whether or not, that should be made okay or not. Very, very valid point of debate. But politically, for us in our situation, it's very good because we have a lot of liberals. We don't have a lot of hardcore patriots, although these guys might turn aggro at some point. We're going to watch. And of course, the ethnic minorities will like that. What is their current situation? Do they show up as a block of voters? I guess alphabetically. Ethnic minorities, yeah. I'm sorry. 80% of our population count as being ethnic minorities? I mean, just like the United States, we are a nation of immigrants. Huh. Huh, that's interesting.
Whiskey and chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Banana Camina! Why are we not playing this straw polls? Mostly because it takes, takes a minute to set up a straw poll or so. For some of these, we might do it, and we have done it in the past, but here it's going to be okay. So so far, they trust me. They're slightly happy, which isn't bad. There is some racial tension. Let's see if we can improve racial tension situation. I did not realize we had such a giant block. Is it possible that the ethnic minority number just shot up because I, gave them amnesty, so now they're properly registered as citizens of the country? And yeah, remember the math, with 80%, it doesn't mean they're not, but they're split up against with multiple different groups, right? So really the country is a plurality, or for whatever thing. Yeah, okay. What was I gonna think? Yeah, racial tension. I didn't realize that we had so many, and this is something that I wanted to do overall. because, you know, it's the right thing to do. But now it's like, seems like a really smart idea for all kinds of reasons. I mean, we already have mandatory, like, multilingual classes, which helps a lot. Let's implement a Stamp Out Racism Week. Only a week! You can be racist the other 51, but that 1 week out of the year... Anyway, increases membership in liberalism over the long course, but we've resigned ourselves that, yes, we have a very liberal country, and therefore we're going to have to work with that. And it lowers racial tension over time, and it's fairly cheap and inexpensive to do. So that's a pretty easy decision. Anything else we could do that would help with some of this? There might not be anything new we could pass. Maybe if we had more points, that's possible. Let's see, compulsory language lessons. Don't we already have... compulsory foreign language classes? What was it called? Compulsory language lessons. I'm wondering if there actually is duplication here, and if this is just something that won't be present later, or some of this might get retitled to something to make it more clear. Because to me, these seem the same. Oh, one might be for immigrants. Oh, this might be okay. If you're coming to this country, that's fine, but you have to, you know, enroll in a compulsory language class. Because we already have it so that our kids, when they go to school, they have to learn multiple languages. And this might be the other way around. Okay, we might run this. It costs 24 political capital to do, though. It's pretty strong. Lowers racial tension, increases foreign relations, does boost immigration, which has sort of pros and cons in terms of, you know, implications for the nation. Boosts education, boosts international trade, which is good. Upsets the hardcore patriots. But it's going to take 24 political capital to do it. If we want to run this, and it's very cheap to do, what we probably want to do is just end our turn now, bank all our political capital, and just carry it forward. Oh, there's our maximum, 38. I don't know why it wasn't visible before. School versus adult classes, perhaps. Okay, I think I might just advance the time as is. We still have a bit of a deficit. Not as bad as how things started. I think overall things are moving in a very good direction. Let me do this. Aha! Cyber warfare has ended. That's gonna help. Holy shit. Tourist killed in an animal attack. You know what I think this is? Yeah. It's like, you know, every, like, supernatural vampire kind of TV show ever, it's always, oh no, they were killed by an animal attack. We don't like to talk about the fact that, so that's like 80% minorities, 10% vampire, 8.5% werewolf. It's a whole thing. So not good for tourism, but oh well. Crime going down, unemployment going down, GDP going up, health going up, that's good. The cyber warfare going away is going to be a huge deal. Global economy is doing well. That is actually pretty huge over here. Global economy is the sort of cyan, teal, I don't know, light blue color over here. So yeah, the global economy is in... This is one of the reasons we're having such a great game here. The global economy is like a random thing. It'll change from game to game. Overall, the global economy is doing really good. But in addition to that, our relative GDP is above expectations. So even despite the fact that the global economy is doing good, we're even doing much better than that. All right, that's good to know. That going away is going to make a huge difference. Let's take a quick little check at our disasters. Environmental protests are going down, presumably because the environment is improving. We haven't, like, cracked down on protesters, although we could, right? You got a problem with protests, you could go draconian. Pollution is going up, which tends to happen as GDP increases. Respiratory disease. Okay, hospital overcrowding. Yeah, it's still kind of flatlined there. That's unfortunate. Doctor strike hasn't changed either. Okay, obesity continues to take a big dive. When the obesity epidemic goes away, this should have a pretty dramatic effect on some of the other things that are going. Oh god. I was so freaked out at the deficit because I didn't realize it was millions. I was like, 72 billion? What happened? No, we're fine. Okay. We've effectively got a balanced budget here. Is what we're doing. I think I still like the idea of the language classes. I think that's actually going to be very helpful to keep our society humming along nicely. The fact that it boosts education and international trade is going to make a big improvement on our economy. I suspect these are probably going to take a while to kick in fully, but it'll still be good. Lowering racial tensions will help the ethnic minorities feel better, which will help us with the vote. If we do this, yeah, so racial tension, it's going to take 18 quarters for it to take full effect over here. It does upset the patriots right away. Everything else, a lot of it's taking a while to kick in, but it's all pretty good stuff. Although, higher immigration, one of the things it does do is high immigration leads to greater racial tension because you have more races showing up. But overall, this is going to help lower it. I'm going to go for it. Plus, it sounds cool. Now, if we look at these blocks, popularity has definitely improved a lot since we started, which is good. Environmentalists love us. So do the poor, socialists, state employees. I mean, they don't make up a huge box, they're okay. The retired love us, they're not the huge. Conservatives hate us. Religious really hate us. They're at 0. And one of the things we're going to have to keep an eye on is once they start radicalizing. Actually, that's already happening. There's at least 8 known members of the Angels of Heavenly Justice, the radicalized religious groups over here. Right now, the threat is still fairly low, but could be a problem. Ban coal would be excellent for the environment. I don't suspect we have the points for it right now, but it might be the next thing we want to target. We need 16 points, which isn't that much. I mean, it's a pretty daring move. It does increase oil demand because we're going to be switching to more oil over there, but we have improved it overall. I mean, coal is the worst, and coal puts out more radiation than nuclear power plants and everything. Organ donation actually does seem pretty good. Maybe we should just do that. I don't think we really need to save right now. I do like the compulsory organ donation. We don't have the points to run this yet. We might just end the turn here. There's still some things over here that would be nice. The hybrid car initiative isn't even that expensive, actually. Hold on. Electric car transition. Oh. Oh, this is actually really cool. Let's do it. Motorists like it. This is going to boost environmentalist income because they're already buying hybrid cars, and so we're going to make hybrid cars cheaper, so environmentalists are going to have more money. That's funny. Do you think Angels of Heavenly Justice, the religious group, sounds like some cheap 80s biker gang? Or like some sort of like metal band? Okay, well, we have literally 0 political capital. Let's tick forward. World forecast of economy is still good. Housing expansion. There's a shortage of homes in our country, and the government is under pressure to relax planning laws and allow previously restricted greenbelt land to be built on. So, parks, forests, and things like that, that we were using as some green space, should we allow people to build houses here. House prices are rising far faster than earnings, due mostly to the shortage of supply. In the long term, the only solution is to build more housing. It's no good providing housing where there are no jobs, and if that means building on small portions of greenbelt land, then that's a price we have to pay. So let's turn Central Park into a series of condos. Or we could keep planning restrictions. There's always pressure to build new homes on greenfield sites because housing companies find it cheaper and easier to build on them. There are plenty of urban sites that should be reused before we resort to carving up the countryside. A sudden expansion to the greenbelt would have a dreadful impact on the rural communities. Toronto and Vancouver are definitely sprawling out very aggressively that way. Yeah. So let's see. We got relax. Frankie says relax. Keep, relax, keep for sure. Keep. All right, that's not even close. Not even close here. You guys want me to keep the planning restrictions. Again, makes the environmentalists happy. Makes the farmers happy because we're not taking over their land. And again, we piss off the capitalists. It's like a pattern here. It's almost like I've got certain political leanings that keep going there. Now, some of these pulse and some of these don't. Maybe because it's like rose recently, maybe that's what it's pulsing for. So respiratory disease continues to be a bit of an issue. How's the obesity situation? We're nearly there. We're almost there. And we still have some of these are still coming in to fruition. We might need a little bit more. It looks like it's flattening out a bit. We might need to pull some lever a tiny bit more, and I'm not sure. If we lower car usage and have more biking and stuff, that helps with the obesity. And we are still working on the car usage overall, so that might not be too bad. What were we talking about implementing, but we didn't have the points for? Banning coal. Or mandatory organ donation. Big fan of that. You're dead. You don't need your organs anymore. Like, what the hell, right? We could, you're right, we could do the bicycle subsidies. Thing is, like, in Canada, biking, I mean, outside of the big cities, right? Like, you know, bike around Toronto, bike around Montreal, do something like that. Other than that, it's pretty rough. First of all, you're not going to be able to bike at least a few months out of the year. Where I live, probably 5 months out of the year, you're not going to bike at all because just winter icy conditions, which are not bike safe. And in addition to that, because of the harsh winters and everything like that, our roads and stuff tend to get absolutely obliterated every spring. Just massive, like, buckling of the roads, potholes and things like that because of the melting, right? The ground shifts as things freeze, then thaw out, and so there's massive potholes and things, and the roads are in pretty rough condition. Being a cyclist is pretty difficult. The other thing is because there's such a massive car-centric culture, as most places do not have proper bike lanes or anything like that, certainly not where I live. Even though legally you're supposed to ride your bike on the road and not the sidewalk, it's suicidal to ride your bike in the road here. Every now and again I see it, and people don't know that you're supposed to, right? Other motorists don't realize that not only they're allowed, they're actually legally supposed to drive on the road, and people get pissed. They're honking, get the fuck off the road, what are you doing, you maniac? How could you possibly drive your bike on the road? And there's also multiple cases of people getting schmucked and killed on their bicycle. So if you do bike, you tend to ride on the sidewalk. Now, in my town, they've actually, this year, as far as I can tell, for the first time, they've actually started putting down bike lanes on the sidewalk still, because, like, they just, like, realize, no, this is just the way it's going to have to be. And at least that is finally starting to happen, at least on one road in the city, as far as I can tell. So, Canada-wide, this would be kind of tricky to, like, really push cycling as an alternative. However, within the context of this game, I think this would be pretty potent. Almost, democracy almost needs some sort of climate trait, right? Just like this is like hard-coded state in here for us for the Northwest Passage, for example. There almost needs to be one hard-coded thing, although I guess it could be modified slightly by global warming, for example, right? Of sort of temperature distribution. Now, it's hard to say because in somewhere like Vancouver, you got perfect weather all year round, so it's not a problem. In Southern Ontario, it's quite a lot better, and in somewhere like Toronto, the main roads are always going to be clear and things like that, so biking in the winter is probably not the end of the world, except maybe right after a snowstorm. But very different where I live, so I don't know. But it would, in fact, I think, be a fantastic idea to guarantee that we push the obesity epidemic just over the edge. It actually hits it doesn't do much for obesity, but it does it immediately, which is going to be pretty nice. Even the health bonus, only 2 quarters for it to hit completely. And then it does also affect the car, rail, bus usage, which is probably good overall. So let's go ahead with this. Bus passes are also a possibility, but I'm wondering if we want to go in another direction first. Do we want to ban coal? You know what? Let's just do it. Ban coal, implement. So there's no money involved at either end. Even if we keep it at the lowest, it still has a benefit, which is interesting. This does affect respiratory disease directly. And then CO2 emissions indirectly affects the respiratory disease. Whatever. Coal is terrible. Let's get rid of it. Yeah, clean coal. Yeah. Like clean mud. Oh, we got a $3.72 billion surplus this quarter? Probably because getting rid of the cybercrimes really boosted our GDP. Or cyber warfare, not cybercrime. Cybercrime's another thing that can happen as well. Okay, we're basically out of resources. We're also basically out of time here. Okay, gig economy. I think something might want to be tweaked over here because we get notified about this so often and it's such a thin little meter. Like, I don't know, but I still like that it shows up here. Airport expansion. Oh my god, 3 options. This is gonna be our final decision here. We're wrapping up the stream in a second. Planning permission has been requested for the expansion of some of our country's largest airports. There is simply not enough capacity for the number of flights that we have to land here. We could A, allow expansion plans. Our tourism industry is very dependent on air travel, and if we are to expand tourism, providing more jobs and growth in GDP, we must make more air capacity available. We need to act now to ensure we have increased capacity and time. Or we could reject plans. Air travel is a pollution nightmare. Both air and noise pollution cause problems. We should not be encouraging air travel. Also, the plans would mean the demolition of countless homes and vast inconvenience to people living near the airports. Reject the plans. Or we could delay it. Tough decision, but frankly not one we must take this year. It may seem a bit indecisive, but we can just put this off for a while. Maybe even until the next election. So, in chat we got reject, allow, reject, delay, allow, reject. Most people want allow. Some people are saying delay. But not that many people want it rejected outright, and it looks like allow is the thing. I guess we're going to allow expansion of air travel. So environmentalists don't like it. You know what? We do enough for the environmentalists. I think they're going to be okay. It's going to boost tourism. It also boosts air travel, which does affect the environment. But there we go. We've chosen that. I was hoping that we'd get one of these other things solved. We're almost there with obesity. We're so close. What I propose is this. We are going to finish this, I think, on Wednesday. And then next Monday will either be Stellaris with the Star Trek New Horizons mod or Motorsport Manager. I'm leaning towards maybe Stellaris because I think I'm going to do 1 season of Motorsport Manager as a YouTube season, so that we can shuffle, shuffle up what gets YouTube versus streamed and things like that. So I think it's going to be Stellaris next Monday and possibly Wednesday, but I think this Wednesday is going to be the continuation of this democracy run. It's about right. We're about halfway through our term over here. Actually, almost. Possibly literally halfway through our term, so that may have worked out beautifully. We still have tons of issues to deal with, and we're certainly not guaranteed to be elected over here. We're right on the fringes here. I don't know how that's going to work out compared to different things. There are there we go, electioneering over here that we can work with. We have no activists at all. How do we get that going on? Yeah, a lot of this we can only do as the election gets closer. We don't have as much campaign funding either. We can start working on some of these boosters, these media stunts for various categories, to hopefully convince the electorate that we are the people to go for. Hopefully, we will simply get reelected through good governance, but, in reality, nothing ever works that way. So that's something we're definitely gonna have to start working for on Wednesday. For now, we're going to go right to Kiss for Luck, it's Rhino, who's on the channel playing RimWorld. Oh, he's got a cool looking base. Also, he's got like 13 Muffalo running around inside his house. All right, we're going to go right at Kiss for Luck's channel. We're going to see you guys on Wednesday for the continuation of our democracy run. Saturday will be Crusader Kings 3, and then next Monday and possibly Wednesday as well, I suspect will be Stellaris New Horizons, unless something else hits and all of a sudden it's like, no, we got to play this other thing instead. We will see. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks everyone who followed and subscribed, and all the people who contributed to the Whiskey and Chocolate Fund. Much love, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Bye-bye.